Hello, hello, lovelies. Welcome. We have so many of you on right now. I am so excited. My name is Stephanie Classy. If you don't know who I am the head of education here at goPure, and we are chatting all about a topic that is near and dear to us here at goPure, but it's also a topic that is very misunderstood, often misconstrued, clean beauty. I want to intro someone very awesome, someone I love working with so much. Amy is the head of our product development. She has studied consumer psychology and marketing, and she's super passionate about your experience with your products, what you think, how they make you feel. And she has been with us here at goPure for 2.5 years. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here.
But Amy and I have 7 main myths we're going to try and get through today. It's a long list, but we're just really super excited to share kind of what these myths are, and then really the reality of it, and then what that means to us here at goPure. First myth, and this is a big one. The myth is clean beauty is clearly defined. There is one industry standard. And you and I both know that there isn't a common definition of clean beauty. There is not an industry standard. And there's various standards throughout the beauty industry. And it can be super confusing and overwhelming when that word is used, clean beauty. Okay, what does that mean? And each brand has an individual responsibility to define what it means to them, but also to clearly communicate that. Saying you're clean, you and I both know, is not enough. And it includes everything from ingredients that they include to what they won't include, maybe sustainability initiatives, ingredients and ingredient sourcing, and how it contributes to their ethos and brand values overall. And it's just important for people to find a brand that they trust, that communicates that clearly and has values they align with, like goPure, to deliver on that in a trustworthy way. So Amy, can you tell everyone here, what does clean beauty mean to us at goPure?
Well, like Stephanie said, and I'll just double pretty much all of that, but there is no set standard of clean beauty. And because of that, it could be super confusing to consumers. They don't understand what makes this clean and what makes this clean. And there's so many ingredients that one brand will use with no problems, consider it clean, and another brand would never even touch it. So there's just so many varying opinions by individual companies. And when a brand gives the impression that they're clean, they do have the responsibility to kind of define what that means to them. So communicate to their customers, how it's clean, why they think it's clean. They should be listing the ingredients on their do not use list, which is, also known as a no list. They should be discussing their sourcing methods, their sustainability initiatives, and what their overall brand ethos is, and their overall stance on clean beauty. And that's what we strive to do at goPure. We want to make sure that we're only using ingredients that are safe, that are non-toxic. And additionally, we want to make sure that we're always transparent with our customers. It's important that you as an individual kind of decide the level of cleanliness that you're comfortable with, because everybody has different needs and different skin and different opinions on what makes things clean. So what's important to you is definitely super important. And, to kind of ask yourself, are you looking for cruelty-free? Are you looking for vegan? Are you looking for gluten-free? Again, all personal decisions. So there's just so much to consider.
So we've mentioned a no list a few times. So can you talk about what is a no list, and maybe talk about our no list a little bit?
So a no list is basically a list that a company comes up with that says what ingredients they definitely will not put into their products. And our no list has heavily evolved over the years. It's, maybe started out a little bit on the smaller side, and it's become, a much, much larger, much more robust list of products we definitely will not put in our formulas. For sure. I mean, the obvious is that we will never use the dirty six. We'll never use formaldehyde, parabens, dyes, propylene glycol, SLS, which is sodium lauryl sulfate, or hydroquinone. Definitely never, ever, ever. But our no list goes way beyond that. And it's really important for us to keep the list up to date. So any new information that comes about, any changes to the safety of ingredients, as that comes to light, we definitely have to pay attention to that and kind of, determine how we want to proceed if one of those are in our formulas. We do a ton of research. We always have our eyes and ears open. What happens in the industry, any negative, anything negative comes about an ingredient that, perhaps we're using. And we make changes as needed to ensure the safety of our products. We keep adding to that no list.
And I will say, even just in the time that I've been here, that list has grown, and we're always looking at that. We're always assessing. And sometimes if you go on our website in our About Us section, we list ingredients, we have our no list, we very clearly define what clean beauty means to us. But I always felt like that our no list doesn't always do us justice, because we talk about the dirty six a lot. Yes, those things that a lot of people look for that are very important to us, like the parabens, the formaldehyde, the hydroquinone, the SLS, the things that are harmful and can be irritants. But our list, I just wanted, is much, much longer than that. And it really is always growing. And, we do challenge our chemists regularly
100%.
we will not compromise. We will not compromise. And when you stick to that clean beauty standard, it makes products harder to formulate, because some of these ingredients, maybe are just an easy to use. And we really do challenge that standard and that status quo. All right. Myth number 2. Natural ingredients are better than synthetic and chemicals are bad. And this is something that I love talking about in myth busting, is that chemicals are bad, because everything around us is a chemical. Even water is a chemical. And even the most natural products, ingredients, are made up of chemicals. Your favorite fruits and veggies have a long list of chemicals that are found in them. And even an apple has 31 different chemicals that make up its main ingredient list. And this is actually something that's really cool that I saw floating around, and I looked up. A chemistry teacher in Australia named James Kennedy was really trying to help people understand that chemicals are all around us. So he actually made ingredient lists and labels for your favorite fruits and vegetables. And that's something that you can look up. It's pretty cool, because it just shows that even sometimes people think, a skincare product ingredient list should be really short, and it should be only things that I can pronounce, and chemicals are bad. And the reality of it is that even an apple has a list of 31 ingredients that are very hard to maybe and understand, but be wary of chemical free. Chemical free is not possible. And I know, Amy, you've probably seen brands throw that terminology around, chemical free, and that's just not possible. But also the side that natural isn't always safer, because some natural ingredients don't penetrate the skin well. Maybe they're not as effective. Some can be allergens and irritants. So clean skincare is all about the safe, the non-toxic, the non-irritating. And it is possible that natural ingredients can deliver. And we have ingredients like bakuchiol and kakadu plum and tamarind. Our hydrocella is a naturally derived ingredient, but there are, it's all about the safest, most effective ingredients. So Amy, can you tell us, how do we decide what ingredients to include or avoid here at goPure?
So, like you said, chemicals are everywhere. Everything you breathe, see, ingest, touch, they're all composed of chemicals. So we simply cannot make formulas or product without chemicals. It's just not possible. At the same time, natural may not always be safe either. I mean, there are chemicals that are safe. There are chemicals that are unsafe. There are natural ingredients that are safe, and there are natural ingredients that are not safe. We have some natural ingredients in our formulas that have been proven to be very safe and very effective. So we're super excited about that. Stephanie listed those out for you guys. And we also have synthetic ingredients that are also safe and also effective. So we kind of just balance it out by what's clean, what's safe, what's going to work. We want to put stuff in our formulas that's going to work. We don't want to put, 50 ingredients in there just to fluff it up. It's got to be stuff that has a purpose, that's going to work. And just as an example, between natural and synthetic, I have a product that's coming out later this year. It was very important to us that it was vegan. So in order to make it vegan, I had to substitute beeswax for a synthetic wax. And it turned out in the end, after doing all of the research, that the synthetic wax was actually safe, had better safety ratings and lower irritation ratings than the beeswax did. So that was a win-win. We're substituting something to be able to make it vegan, and it ended up being a gentler, safer product. So, that's kind of how we do. We kind of, balance it out, make sure that the natural, that the chemical, that the synthetic, that everything is safe. It has to meet a certain safety rating for us to even consider putting it in our formula.
That's so good to know. And I see people now getting so excited about a new possible product coming, but we have a lot of fun things in store. Trust us. So what can make an ingredient harmful? I know that I have a tree nut allergy. And so something that is safe for a lot of people, for me individually, is a harmful ingredient. And I also have super sensitive skin. So can you talk a little bit about what can make an ingredient harmful?
There are so many things that can make it harmful, but it's really, it's a case-by-case basis. Everybody is different. Everybody's skin tolerates differently. Everybody's body tolerates things differently. Are you pregnant? Are you in the overexposure to the sun, or even in the sun, more than other people are? Certain ingredients like retinol, which is otherwise very safe, is not safe for women who are pregnant or nursing. Retinol also heightens your skin's ability to burn in the sun. So SPF should always be used when you use a retinol to make it extra safe. So many ingredients are also known to have links to cancer, to gastrointestinal issues, hormone disruptors. There's so many different ingredients out there that cause so many different problems. But at goPure, we take pride in making sure that we are not putting in the ingredients that are causing those real health issues, and that if we use something that does maybe cause a reaction, like a retinol would cause a sunburn potentially if you didn't have an SPF, we label everything. We put a warning to use SPF. We put a warning to not use it if you're pregnant or nursing. We put warnings on any products that have BHAs to use an SPF. So we're extra careful to make sure that our customers know, if you use this, make sure you use this in conjunction.
Yeah, I love that. And myth number 3, clean formulas are gentler and less irritating. And so I'm really excited for you to share about this, because we just spoke about how some of these natural ingredients can be irritants and common allergens. And like you said, some ingredients overall, not just natural ingredients and clean formulas, there are ingredients that can cause photosensitivity and even chemical burns. And things like essential oils are very polarizing, because essential oils are pretty gnarly chemical compounds actually, and they can burn the skin if not used correctly. Fragrance oils and citrus extracts and the whole world of clean beauty and what you may or may not have in a product. So with how we formulate, because we're not just talking about clean, non-toxic, we're also talking about gentle and non-irritating and safe for the skin in that way too. What do we do to ensure our skincare is gentle and less irritating?
So yeah, there are so many ingredients, even ingredients found in clean or natural formulas that are indeed extremely irritating to some people. We take a lot of pride in our formulas. We want to make sure they're gentle. We want to make sure they're non-irritating. We want to make sure that if somebody has super sensitive skin, and this particular formula is not good for sensitive skin, then we're letting, we're educating on that, and we're letting people know maybe not to use this if you have super sensitive skin. But what we do initially is, it's called an RIPT test. I mentioned it earlier. It's a human repeated insult patch test. And what it is before we launch a product, the formula is put onto a patch, and then the patch is put onto the upper back of 50 participants of mixed age levels, mixed skin issues, and it's worn for 6 weeks. So its intention is to see if there's any reaction to the formula. A dermatologist basically reviews the patch site area throughout the trial and the assessment, and really looks at the results to see if anybody had any irritations, if anybody had any sensitivity issues. And we get a report at the end, and it shows how many people had this issue, how many people had that issue. But in all of our products, we've never had any instances where people had any sensitivity issues. But 100%, if we did, we would definitely not release the formula. We are very, very, big on transparency, and we definitely don't want to release something that we know is going to cause any irritating or sensitivities.
That's really cool. And especially considering that we do use potent active ingredients. We use really awesome potent active ingredients. And that I was so excited when I heard we've never had an instance of irritation. Do we get any acknowledgement or additional certification with this type of testing?
We don't get any additional certification. We get a report from a dermatologist, and it basically allows us to know that our product was dermatologist tested.
Okay. Does it allow us to be, say we're hypoallergenic as well?
We can say hypoallergenic, I believe. That's maybe a little bit more of a getting more approval type of situation, but we definitely can, we definitely are hypoallergenic based on these results. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Now, do we have to do this testing? Is it required in the beauty industry?
No, it's not required. It's definitely a brand's decision to do the testing, but we have done it on every single one of our products. We'll continue to do it, and definitely would never release something without having those negative results.
That's really cool. That's awesome. Myth number 4, natural and clean is more sustainable and eco-friendly. And this is something that I'm excited for us to address, because clean beauty does not equate to green beauty. And skincare sustainability and sustainability initiatives is an ever-changing landscape. And I'm excited to talk with you because having been the head of our distribution supply chain, making those packaging decisions, so many things that impact the carbon footprint of a brand, and that there's just a lot of greenwashing that can happen. So can you discuss what our sustainability efforts look like here at goPure? And because I know it impacts things like packaging, recyclability, ingredient sourcing, other practices, and those types of things. So I would just love to hear from you about some of our sustainability initiatives and the future of that here at goPure, and how we're, always looking to improve upon that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, just like the standards of clean beauty, the concept of sustainability is ever changing and evolving. So many brands are greenwashing their consumers. They are making them believe that they're sustainable. But there's really no set standard of what is and what is not sustainable. I mean, I would say, in my opinion, you're sustainable if you're making an effort to better the earth and the waste and what goes back into the earth. To us at goPure, we feel recyclable packaging rather is very, very important. Our packaging has always been recyclable. We are making some changes to make it even more recyclable, easier to recycle, more, even more sustainable than it is now. We're changing our, later this year, we're changing our product boxes to be made out of recycled paper, and also to be printed with vegetable-based ink. So that's much better for the environment. There's not a lot of gases going out in printing. So that's super exciting. We're very excited to do that. And also our glass bottles that the serums come in, those are painted white glass versus actual white glass, because if the glass is white, it's not recyclable. So we have the bottles painted, which is why you see the clear rim on the top there, just to make sure that they are recyclable. So we definitely, we take efforts to be as sustainable as we can, to, create as least waste as we can in our packaging. It may not be fancy, frilly, over the top with all the inserts that come out of the box and this and that, but it's more sustainable, and it does what its purpose is. It protects the formula, it protects the bottle, it gives you all the information on the box, and it helps us contribute to the retention of Mother Earth.
I love that. And what's funny though is, so I didn't know that about the box and how we were going to be able to make some of those improvements and the vegetable-based ink, because sometimes it's it's about I call them like the baby green steps too. Like it's a constant process, it's a constant journey. And it's like looking at all of those little things that I think that get taken for granted when it comes to those efforts and initiatives. Because we see how many of our VIPs are sharing how they reuse their packaging. They're always sharing these cool ideas, but it's always about that constant process of how can we assess like what our packaging looks like and what are roadblocks to making even more sustainable, recyclable, all those things. I think that's just so cool. Myth number 5, preservative free is safer. I know that sometimes people equate the idea of preservatives with harsh, harmful, yucky, icky, bad ingredients, but preservatives are vital in the world of skincare. You do not want skincare without those preservatives. I know that I actually had an experience where I purchased skincare from someone who had made it that I knew, and it went very bad very quickly, grew some horrible things in there, and I was actually astonished. And these preservatives keep our products stable. They keep the ingredients stable, but they also keep it free of the bacteria, the mold, the possible contamination. And there are like dirty preservatives, and then there are ingredients that we can utilize to keep our products clean from those yucky things growing in them and stable. And so what do you want people to know about preservatives and skincare?
So, as Stephanie mentioned, preservatives are necessary. They are necessary to any formula to make sure that all of the gross, yucky things don't come into your formula, into your product. Mold, bacteria, microorganisms. We want to make sure that we keep all of that stuff away. There's a number of preservatives that are available that we can use that are still clean and not considered a dirty ingredient and don't really have any side effects. Each formula that we create calls for a different preservative system in order to make sure that it is going to work with the other ingredients in that formula. So our chemists are very, they're in tune with what we do not want in our formulas, and they put together really dynamic formulas and preservative systems that we, make sure are clean and are going to be okay for you guys to use. So again, yeah, we're very determined to use the cleanest preservatives in our formula. We always want to make sure that what we are bringing to our customers, to y'all, is 100% safe, and that it doesn't have any contaminants that is going to diminish the health of your skin. So before products are sold, every ingredient that goes into a formula is put through micro testing to make sure that there's nothing in there, no mold, no bacteria, microorganisms. And then after a formula is made, and it gets, mixed in the big vats and it's ready to go and be put into bottles, it's tested again in its complete state. And then it's put into bottles and it's tested a third time. So there's 3 tests there that are done to make sure that there is nothing wrong with the formula. There's nothing that's going to come out and get you when you use these products. So we're definitely, super big on protecting our customers. Your health and safety, because our customers' health and safety is our number 1 priority. So all of these tests are super vital to make sure that, everything is safe and to bring peace of mind that we're putting the best products out there.
All right. So this is something that I'm excited to address too, because this is a huge myth. So this myth is myth number 6. Your skin absorbs X percentage of what you put on it. So who has heard this? Like, I see this all the time. Your skin absorbs X percent of the chemicals into your bloodstream in this amount of time. And there's this misconception that you put something on your skin and in a minute, all of this stuff absorbs and gets into your bloodstream. And it's positioned a ton of different ways, but this is such a huge myth because, and I think it's one of those myths that gets thrown around as a part of fear mongering with clean beauty and tries to make people be afraid of everything that's in their products and everything that is touching their skin. And I've heard it so many different ways, but our skin's barrier that you've probably heard me talk a lot about if you've been on the lives its job is to keep the good stuff in and keep the bad stuff out. Our skin's barrier is very powerful. And if everything we put onto our skin got into our bloodstream, it would be so much easier to make skincare. And we could, have topically applied medications and all of these different things. It would be so much easier. And that's one of the things that makes it hard to develop effective skincare is our skin's barrier is actually pretty good at keeping stuff out. And so things like the pH of a product, molecule size, chemical makeup, whether it's oil or whether it's water, and the science of skin penetration, ingredient formulation, and absorption, it's very, very complicated. And so just because we want stuff to absorb, but just because something absorbs doesn't mean it's even getting into or near your bloodstream either. And there is so much negative messaging and fear mongering all around this. So Amy, what can you add to this? And I'd really like us to talk about how we formulate skincare to actually help it penetrate the skin's barrier without causing a problem, without being disruptive. Because I've actually seen questions about this too. So take it away on that topic for us.
Okay. So, there's definitely ingredients that absorb into the skin easier than other ingredients. Vitamin C, vitamin E, they both have small molecular structures, so they're able to absorb into the skin much easier and penetrate much easier. Our Dramatically Dewy Serum, it has 3 different molecular weights of hyaluronic acid, so it helps with the absorption into the skin at deeper levels. When a particular formula may not have such an easy time absorbing based on the pH or the molecular size, then it needs a little extra assistance for that absorption. So extra ingredients and processes need to be added for that, to happen. We challenge our chemists to come up with clean options to assist in penetration and keeping while still keeping clean and safe and keeping the formula effective. Surfactants help to increase the skin penetration of water-soluble substances, which increases the permeability of water or water-based serums or moisturizers into the skin. We also have some products that are made with that involve an advanced encapsulation of certain ingredients. So basically what that is, advanced encapsulation is a process where the ingredient is basically surrounded by, let's just call it a wall. It's like let's say it's put into a balloon and it basically helps to, it keeps the ingredient stable and it helps the ingredient absorb better into the skin. So those are some of the things that we do, safe surfactants, different ingredients that help with the penetration and the advanced encapsulation.
This question comes up a lot too, when I'm educating around, damp skin versus dry skin. When your skin is damp, it allows certain water-based ingredients to absorb better because, and I'm seeing questions on here about this. So our skin's barrier is a mix of those surface cells and lipids, basically. Our skin actually is more receptive to oil-based ingredients because that's what that barrier is. Oil likes oil, water likes water. Think about when you mix a salad dressing and the two separate, like an oil and vinegar dressing. Think about that. We want to get water-based ingredients into our skin, but that oil can sit at the top with that barrier. So some of those advanced encapsulation systems are, oil loving to help those water-based ingredients in, but even things like having damp skin when you're applying certain serums can help with the absorption just because water likes water. And that's why I tell everyone, that's why we tell people to apply a certain way too, because you want those active ingredients, you want those water-based ingredients, because when you moisturize and put oils in, it really reinforces that barrier and seals it all in. So the final myth, and maybe we can share some extra fun details here, but this is a big myth. Myth number 7, that the US cosmetics industry is not regulated. There's a lot of myths around this, like, Europe has these standards and the US has no standards at all. And it is a big myth because the US cosmetics industry is actually regulated, even if it may seem less strict than other countries. And it can be very confusing with how the FDA does and does not regulate. But this is directly from the FDA website. It's very searchable. on prohibited and restricted ingredients in skincare. So it is against the law for a cosmetic to contain any ingredient that makes the product harmful when consumers use it according to the directions on the label or in the customary or expected way. This is true whether or not there is regulation that specifically prohibits or restricts the use of the ingredient in cosmetics. So, and that's very vague, but it is illegal to use harmful ingredients in skincare, even if there is not specific regulation or legislation around that. And that in and of itself is a form of regulation. However, caveat, brands need to be honest and transparent about what's in their products and ingredients. We've talked about transparency a lot. Fragrance is one of those things that falls in that category. A company can list the term fragrance, and it can be any number of things depending on the percentage that is in there. And it's actually something that can be used to mask certain ingredients. We are fragrance free. We absolutely never do that. But it is very important to know and keep in mind that the safety, the toxicity of ingredients, what we know about them is constantly changing. And we do acknowledge that the messaging can be very confusing. And at goPure, as we've said, we are committed to making the cleanest, most effective skincare products that are responsibly priced, so you can feel confident in your skin all of the time. So Amy, can you shed any light on how the FDA works to keep the cosmetics industry safe from those harmful ingredients or products? Anything you can share about our manufacturer, our facility, and any products that we have maybe utilized that fall under that regulation?
So the FDA does not regulate cosmetics unless they're considered an OTC, so an over-the-counter product. So like a sunscreen, or something that has a high medicinal content like a salicylic acid over a certain percentage. Those are OTC products, and those require FDA intervention, so to say. For an SPF, the FDA requires like a minimum of a 9-month testing process to make sure that the SPF levels are met and that it's going to do what you're saying that it's going to do. That's why on an SPF, you see a drug fact box on the back of the packaging, because it is considered a drug, an over-the-counter medication. So basically, it's kind of like the FDA runs on an honor system. So companies and individuals who manufacture skincare have a legal responsibility to ensure the safety of their products. The law or the FDA does not require specific testing. They don't require that you share information with them about non-OTC products. But it's really up to the company, according to the FDA, it's really up to the company to do what is right and what they know is right. Not doing anything dangerous or harmful to the people that are buying the products, because it will harm the people that are buying them. We take every step and precaution to make sure that our products are, like I said, thoroughly tested, safe. We regularly visit our manufacturers to ensure the facilities meet our standards. We use FDA approved facilities and good manufacturing practice facilities to manufacture our products. We just, we're really in tune with the manufacturing process. And this really helps us have that peace of mind that our products are being made to our high standards. I mean, we have very high standards, so we want to make sure that everything is made to those standards. We keep a single lot of, so basically every time a formula is run, we keep 3 pieces of each lot of that product. We keep it for years and years just to make sure that if there's ever an issue, if ever anything comes about, we can look at the lot number and we can go find the product from when that lot was created and make sure that there really is nothing wrong, or have it tested. If somebody says, that they see some black stuff in their cream or whatever it could be, we'll go look at our samples of the same lot, and we'll make sure that, everything looks good. We'll have it tested to make sure that everything is safe. And basically, so like I've mentioned so many times today, our customer safety is our number one priority. So we will always go the extra step. We will always perform the extra tests, put in the extra effort, do the extra work to make sure that our products are safe and that everybody that's using them continues to be safe while using them.
That's amazing. And are all skincare facilities like an FDA type facility?
No, definitely not. Not all of them.
That's really cool. This was a really cool chat. Thank you for sharing all of those amazing tidbits. I hope you'll come back and join me and join all of these lovelies here at goPure for continued chats, because this was fun. I had fun. Amy, did you have fun?
I had so much fun. I'm totally good to come anytime you want me.
I had so much fun. I did. And we just appreciate you so much. And stay tuned, because if you follow us on social media, Amy actually did a really cool video that is up on TikTok, and we have it up on our YouTube channel. Please follow us on social, especially our YouTube channel. She actually did a video on that RIPT testing. I have other projects for her and other videos we're going to be working on to share this information with you all, because that transparency is really, really important to us. And for all of you that wanted to win that PR box, double stay tuned, because I have grand plans to throw that beauty over there and that PR box around a little bit more. And so we have some fun things coming up. So stay tuned. Make sure you're in our goPure VIP community. If you are not, that is an incredible community where all of these wonderful suggestions that you shared with Amy and myself, and Amy's in there too. Aaron, our co-founder, is in there. We have so many people at goPure in that chat. We see and we know what's going on. So throw those suggestions in there. It's an amazing community. And follow us on our social channels, because we do lots of fun giveaways all of the time. And yes, I have grand plans for that gorgeous PR box. So make sure you're following us in all of the places. And finally, if you enjoyed this chat, check out our blog on our website. We actually do have this blog on the website, 7 myths, those 7 clean beauty myths that goes through this. And we also have a really awesome Q&A that I did with Amy last year, and Alex, who is our other co-founder, on a lot of these topics as well, with their perspective. So check out our blog, because we have lots of goodies up there too. So thank you all for joining us, and I hope you have a lovely evening, and we will see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank you, Amy.